Howdy, everyone. So what you're about to watch is a highlight reel for a commentary track I recently recorded with this channel's longtime friend Raekwon. If you want access to the full commentary audio, or just want to support the channel because you enjoy my video essays and stuff, you can do so by becoming a channel member or by subscribing to my Patreon. Doing so also gets your name added to the credits of my videos, and new subscribers to either of those have until March 26th to have their name appear in my next video. Speaking of which, I'll be back in just a week with a brand new essay about 2004's Garden State and pretension in cinema. If that sounds interesting to you, be sure to drop by so that you can watch that when it comes out. And if you enjoy this video, also stick around to check out my full video essay on the Mission Impossible series. That'll be coming out sometime in late April or early May. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you enjoy the video and have a great day. All right. Hey, everybody. You are tuning in for our commentary track for 1996's Mission Impossible, directed by Brian DePalma. My name's Nick, and I'm joined by my faithful co-host, Raekwon.
How do?
Okay, well, here's something I want to talk about. So I was just saying this is based off a show from the 60s.
Yes.
And I love that each of these Mission Impossible movies, they do what they did in the intro for the show, which is they show footage from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you watch the intro to a Mission Impossible episode and they show you what's happening in that episode later, but without the context, it doesn't matter. And it's the same exact thing here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
John Voight's character, Jim Phelps,
he's from the show.
From the show. I didn't know that going into it, or they don't even allude to that at all in the movie, but it's pretty cool.
I think very much it's cool that the movie just is a continuation of the show. I know a lot of fans were very upset about that at the time. They felt betrayed because they were like, well, Jim Phelps would never betray his country like that.
Yeah.
And I think the movie touches on it a little bit. They have him talk about the Cold War is over, I'm a dinosaur, and I need to look out for myself, which is fine as far as motivation goes. I see why fans are upset.
Mm-hmm.
Because imagine you followed the Peter Graves version of Jim Phelps.
Yeah.
From I think it's season 2 to season 7 of the original show, and then 2 seasons of the 80s revival.
Mm.
And all we've seen him do is serve his country for that time. And now he's betraying it to get one last payout. I can see why that would upset people. I think a good comparison point might be Luke Skywalker. Well, we have Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy. Why is he a mopey piece of shit in The Last Jedi? You know? And it's well, sometimes you just have to accept that the character will do something and we don't have to agree with it, but we do have to accept hey, this is the ride they want to put us on.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Sometimes people sort of, especially with TV, I get how people can be oh, we want it to remain exactly like the source material, but it's not going to happen with the movie.
I mean, it's also just I'm of the belief that when somebody makes something, just go along for the ride a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You can critique it and you can have problems with it. And I want to hear people explain to me in the comments who've seen the show, this is why Jim Phelps, as played by John Voight, is a betrayal of the character. But I'm also kind of well, they made the decision to go away from that for a reason. Maybe we just hear why they did it, you know?
You wake up, the president of the United States is running the country without your permission. And you realize it's over. You're an obsolete piece of hardware not worth upgrading. You've got a lousy marriage and $62,000 a year.
One thing I think we have to address while they're on screen is Jim Phelps's team here. Bunch of good talent, good actors.
Yeah.
You got what's his face there?
Emilio Estevez.
Yes, Emilio Estevez. He's just chilling there, looking like his brother and his dad. And he really does look like Martin Sheen.
Yeah, he does.
It's crazy. You look at this and then I don't know, Badlands or something, and the resemblance is uncanny. You also have Kristen Scott Thomas, who a lot of people recognize from her more beloved work. But for me, she will forever be the girl from Under the Cherry Moon.
Punk, brat, gigolo, cabbage head.
And then obviously we have Tom Cruise. We somehow have gone how long without mentioning that Tom Cruise is in this? 10 minutes maybe.
That's funny, yeah.
Yeah, so if you didn't know, Tom Cruise is in this, and this reverse angle is going to be Tom Cruise also. Right, there it is. Very clearly Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Taxpayers' money. We were living in a democracy.
They try to hide it too with the voice.
Mm-hmm.
They just like, yeah, just do like a Southern accent, you know?
Democracy.
Democracy. Well, I do declare.
I do declare.
Now, what you do here is you bend the gum together. And sorry, that became Foghorn Leghorn for a second.
I said,
this mission is impossible. Yeah, is that Foghorn Leghorn or is that Loveless from Wild Wild West?
Yeah, right. Same deal.
Well, I do declare I want the giant spider. The climax of this movie. No, but it's very cool that you have this A-list cast just to kill them off. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's so ballsy. It reminds me of Psycho. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that feels like a good transition to talk about this movie's director, Brian DePalma. Huge Hitchcock fan. And this movie has a lot of those kind of like Hitchcockian quirks to them.
Yes.
You know?
I'm glad that we're on this subject now because...
Well, we have to be because Brian DePalma loves Hitchcock
Mm-hmm.
and because it's funny to say Hitchcock and put the emphasis on the second syllable.
But yeah, as I was watching this for the first time all the way through, I was like, damn, this is a good movie. I thought it was just going to be like an action film, you know, but...
It's a real film at points. Like, as much of a film as this movie can be. And this came out at a time where you could still make, I think, an $86 million movie and have it actually, like, not be slop. It sounds cynical, I know, and I'm sorry. You could spray me with water anytime I say something too cynical. But, like, I don't know. I feel like we don't see this anymore on some level. Like, look at the cinematography, look at the shot selection, the lighting, the attention to detail.
Yeah, when they're outside, that part was like, I was like, oh my God, this is like a real spy thriller we got here.
Oh right, the heavy blue cast over everything,
man.
And
that was straight up something out of a Hitchcock
noir
movie.
Yeah,
like
the whole scene. We actually just passed a shot that did it, but the use of like Deutsch angles, Dutch angles, whatever. Deutsch it sounds more fun when you see Deutsch angles. You know, like there's another right there. Just the way the camera is used and the way it goes from moving to lock down, like actually great.
Do you not have someone on your staff named Jack?
Oh, this bit. I love this bit. They're just talking shit about Emilio Estevez.
Fellow, as I recall, constantly late and behind.
He sounds like a slave owner. Like,
He does. No, like he sounds like Loveless.
His work.
Well, I do declare that Will Smith is up to his neck in some shit again. Sorry, to get back to like the Hitchcock stuff. What I love about this is it's ballsy to kill all these characters off, and it's the exact twist from Psycho. Think about it. Psycho, for the first half hour, you're following the woman who's like stealing the money or something because she has a fella. You know, the whole movie lulls you into the sense of, okay, this is what I'm getting in for. They're going after this knock list. Everything's going great. They've gotten it. And then they're all dead.
And it's gone.
What?
It's gone. It's all gone.
This was I think the first instance of like being like, oh shit, this is tense.
Yeah. Which is, I love this part because to go back to Hitchcock, you have fucking Jon Voight watching over everything, and he's basically Jimmy Stewart in Rear Window. In his own little way. He's just like, yeah, they're on the elevator. Look at that. You know? I can't tell if that was Jimmy Stewart or Don Knotts. Oh, this is great. Look at that practical effect. You know, I believe they actually killed Emilio Estevez doing that.
He died doing what he loved.
Yeah, he was actually supposed to die. He was going to be in the rest of the movie. But, well, let's just say there wasn't much left of him.
I didn't think that Jon Voight did that the first time around.
I mean, that's the joy of rewatching these movies because these things are so obvious in hindsight. Okay.
That was
you got
a really nice shot.
Okay.
Then when she turned her head like that.
It's just, it's a hindsight thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look at all this. I was making fun of it before we started, but the scene where Ethan watches Jon Voight get shot on the little Apple Watch thingy, you know, it's very obvious that it's Jon Voight holding the gun to himself. But when you're watching it for the first time, you don't necessarily think that.
He's turning his head and pointing the gun at himself.
Yeah.
You guys seeing this
dude
right
dude
now?
was just taking a fucking selfie. Like, wait, this is a gun. Oh no, Ethan, I'm in. I was talking about how you don't really get $86 million movies that look and feel like this anymore. They got Brian De Palma to direct this. You know, like, this guy knows his shit.
Yeah.
Untouchables, Scarface.
Carlito's Way.
He was the original Carrie, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, yeah, hire a director to direct your movie, and guess what? He'll direct the shit out of it. And all the Hitchcockian things I've been mentioning, he's a huge Hitchcock nerd. His movie Body Double is just, hey, I feel like making a Hitchcock movie. Let's combine like Rear Window with a couple other ones. This whole sequence is great. This is going back to what I said with the Dutch angles.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. Look at that camera placement. Look at the framing. You have the fish swimming over them. The claustrophobia of the fish stuck in an aquarium. And that's what Ethan is right now. He's like a fish stuck in a tank. And what does he do? He breaks through the fish tank literally to make his escape.
16 tons of water.
Yeah.
In this stunt coming up here.
Jesus Christ.
He did that in one take. But imagine if they didn't get it right. It's like, all right, guys, clean all this shit up. Let's do it again.
Everyone take off tomorrow. We got to rebuild the set. That's the exact face he would be making if he fucked that take up. Right. Peak ass 90s filmmaking moment.
Yeah.
You got that Danny Elfman music and slow motion. See
him outrunning the water.
Yeah. It's so fucking good. He goes from Foghorn Leghorn to the Roadrunner.
It's a cool shot.
Just saying, reminds me of the ending of Vertigo.
Vertigo? I've never seen Vertigo.
Oh, that's the Hitchcock movie where the guy's afraid of heights. Jimmy Stewart.
I haven't seen that.
I'm pretty sure there's a shot almost exactly like that in Vertigo.
He's doing a Die Hard.
He's doing the Die Hard.
Oh no, Ethan. Ethan, my God. My chest.
Ethan, my boy. Somebody broke a light bulb on the ground and I fell on it chest first. To me, this is better than action, by the way.
Same here.
Just the use of tension.
It's building the tension in the scene.
Yeah. Notice the way the camera like stays far away from this guy. It's almost, you know what it communicates to me? He's looking for people that are watching him, but we're looking from the perspective of who's already watching him.
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, that's what that says. And I love that. And here you go. Very classic camera theory. Level camera work on Tom Cruise because he's in control of the situation. You have Max looking down on him because she thinks she's in a position of power. As we punch in closer, we can see that doubt starting to seep into her head.
Yep.
And you can see the guys actually coming up to her level, like literally moving up. It sounds like bullshit, but this is the stuff people think about when they're like framing a movie.
Everybody has pressure points, Barnes. You find something that's personally important to him and you squeeze.
I really like that line delivery.
Yeah. You know who he reminds me of?
Him.
He reminds me of Agent Smith from The Matrix. Mr. Anderson. Just that, like the G-Man affectation. And then you got some very obvious VFX in the background, by the way. Or not VFX. Well, I guess a VFX. It's, you know, it's rear projection. They're not actually in a moving car.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's super obvious in that shot. It's a Hitchcock homage. You can just imagine like the stage hands like rocking the car just off frame.
And they're rocking so much. It's a lot.
That's crazy.
I just can't help but look at that.
Yeah, it completely takes you out of the movie for a sec. It even looks like Ethan or Tom Cruise is like intentionally doing it. He's like rocking back and forth. If you and I ever got to make a movie, I would love to do a gag like that where it's doing that. And then the camera pulls back and it turns out it's like an amusement park ride.
We're just having a full conversation.
We're just having a full conversation on like a little rock and roller coaster thingy simulator.
It's like, all right, see you later.
It slows down, and then the camera pulls back, and the guy's like, "You want to go again? It'll be another $1.50."
Oh, the dude from The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
In Langley? The one in Virginia, Langley.
Is he serious?
Always.
Would have been a really good time for her to say "we," answer in French.
Actually, would have been a very good line.
Yeah, especially because Jean Reno is French.
Yeah.
Oh wait, dude, can I film school you for a second? If she answered "we," do you know how like thematically good that would have been? Because like think about it, her and Jean Reno are working with John Voight, right? And so having her answer "we" is almost like they're speaking their own little language because they're both in on it.
You know, I was thinking not that, but if she would have answered "we," that it would have kind of seemed like maybe it wouldn't have played as well because he's not being very difficult right now, but he's difficult during the mission. Like,
yeah,
kind of an asshole.
He's a fucking piece of work.
So her answering in "we" kind of would have played into that playfulness of her being like, "You're being a dickhead right now."
Yeah, like
and
cool
like,
it, chill.
"We, sir, he's being serious." One thing I loved about this movie is that they get right into it. He's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do it, and we're doing it right now." And you see that Kittredge, he is right before they're like, "What are we gonna do? How are we gonna predict when he's gonna make a move?" And they're literally in the process of doing it as he says that.
This sequence is great. We were talking about Die Hard earlier.
Yeah,
and
one.
I mean, look at this now. Yeah.
I appreciated that Tom does all of his own stunts and stuff because you could tell with something like that, that's a super small thing, him scaling up the vent.
Yeah, but it goes a long way.
It does, because you can see it in his arm that he's actually doing it, and then he's making the goofiest face when he actually like leans up because he's actually pulling up his own body weight. So
it's true. Like it's
cool.
just it's that much more authentic. I also think it's so freaking cool that this $86 million movie has what's essentially like 10 to 15 minutes of near silence. That is so ballsy.
It was so awesome when I was watching this last night, how when he started to drop and just dead silent.
Yeah.
Silent again right now.
It's cool, man. Like, look at that. The way they play with tension and the way it works is, it's DePalma. I mean, what do you expect? But I love when these like American Maverick era filmmakers just do like a crowd pleasing movie like this, or Coppola with like Peggy Sue Got Married is another one. Movies that you're kind of like, why did they direct this?
Money.
Cash grab, man.
Yeah, everyone's got it. Dude, you know what? You and I were having a conversation about how effort is good and it's okay to make things for the sake of making money. Look, you got bills to pay.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather a Brian DePalma direct my Mission Impossible movie than some schmuck. Not to say that the movies have ever been directed by a schmuck, but to say that like I'd rather have them be directed by a beloved director than some person who's just gonna like let the stunt team direct the action sequences. And then Krieger dropping the knife is coming up, which is so funny.
My jaw dropped, dude.
Dude, it's so good. It's the perfect. This is why you hire Brian DePalma to do your fucking movie. Because not only is it just a great bit of writing, you know, like whatever. I think they got Robert Towne to do rewrites on this, of all people, which is crazy. That kind of beat into this is just like, it's done so well.
No exaggeration. I knew about this.
Yeah.
But when I was watching last night, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. Like I was already on the edge of my seat watching the whole sequence, but ending it on that, it's like, man, this is a movie.
Yeah, right. Well, I think it's great because it kind of tells you everything you need to know. It tells you that these guys are the best at what they do, but they are human beings and they're fallible. And you need that in this kind of movie, because if you have like an invincible character, it isn't interesting, you know?
Yeah.
Every Superman needs his kryptonite.
Another good shot.
So funny.
This looks very like Hitchcock-esque.
Oh yeah, it's split diopter. So see, the guy in the background is in focus, but if you look to the right, it's out of focus.
Just that little bit in the middle between
it's
them
out of
two.
focus, yeah. So that's what's called a split diopter, which is literally you're splitting the lens in half. So you can have the foreground and the background in focus.
Mm.
And yeah, that's a De Palma thing, but he got it from, I think Hitchcock. No. Hitchcock wasn't a split diopter guy. That was Orson Welles was big on the split diopter.
Mm.
This is why if you're into film, be a film nerd, watch old movies. You can like seriously learn everything you need to know by watching like a dozen old movies.
Yeah, it's that thing that they say that like all the stories have already been told. They're just kind of doing their own thing now.
You just
take your point of view and
that's what you need. Like I think a lot of people fall into this trap of I want to be original. There's no such thing as original. And the only way you can get what we consider original ideas is if you watch a lot of everything else and you create your own like blend of it.
Mm-hmm.
I also appreciate they know that Jon Voight is like not a physical match for Ethan. You know what I mean? For like Tom Cruise. So they just have him fucking kidney punch him.
Yeah. I felt like he just overpowered him because of height. He's like, yeah, Tom Cruise is a shrimp, guys.
He's tiny. It's fine. I'm going to accidentally post a couple of pictures of Tom Cruise standing next to his ex-wife, Nicole Kidman, with their heights written
Is
on
Nicole Kidman tall?
She's taller than him, that's for sure. I think she's like 5'7", 5'8".
You know, I'm doing good. I want
5'11".
you to know. Oh, she is really tall.
She's tall.
I was gonna say yum when you said that, just because I know you like Nicole Kidman, but that just seemed gross.
Yeah, that was good on you for acknowledging it. The first step to getting over an addiction is admitting you have a problem.
I was doing it for the bit, but I was like, wait, that would have been weird.
I was like, doing it for the bit, but it was a bit too much.
A bit too much. A bit over the line.
That's the name of your fucking ABC sitcom. A bit much. Really shitty doo-wop theme song. Doo-ba-doo-wop-ba-doo-wop. A bit much.
I thought the music here was really triumphant.
Yeah.
More like it's suspenseful in nature, but I thought
it's very of the year it was made.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it is, yeah.
Yeah, like that specifically, I feel like I've heard that in so many movies.
Well, you know, Danny Elfman did the score for the first two Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and that feels like it was straight out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Call back to something from earlier.
It's been 5 seconds.
Yeah. It has already been 5. You're right.
You know, so when I saw this, I thought...
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that was it. Holy fuck. Can we get a pause on that frame?
When did he get a black eye?
Dude, he fucking got catapulted into a train at 100 miles per hour.
No, I said black guy. Just kidding.
Oh.
When did he get a black guy?
An hour ago. On the remaster of this, you can tell that they didn't have all of the film assets because the color temperature changes in one of the shots. It's there. It would have changed right there.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. I'm going to try and cut to the Blu-ray print for that shot, because if you look at the right side of the screen of the airplane, you could tell that the film was actually like damaged on the side. It's crazy to think this movie wasn't better preserved for so long. Anyway, there you go. That was fun.
Yeah.
It was a good movie.
Great movie.
Not to end with me bitching about the home release, but it was a good time. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm still talking to the cameras if it's on. I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.
Goodbye.